Good morning, thanks for joining me. I hope everybody's well. I am back today with part 3 of my Q&A. Hopefully the final part. I am going to attempt very hard to be briefer and more succinct with my answers, but you may still need a cup of coffee. I've just made one. Oh, that weirdly matches my top, doesn't it? Ish. Actually, it doesn't at all. It's blue and pink and my top's lilac, but it just kind of looked like it in the lens as I picked it up. So today I'm going to be answering the 2 sections on friends and family and health. That was another one. And then a whole bunch of randomness that I've been asked. So we better get into it without further ado, because there's a lot of questions still to get through, and hopefully I'm not going to ramble too much. I will do my absolute best. So friends and family to start with, and DK the 123 is the username of this person, asked, do you find your mum inspiring? I absolutely do. My mum is my heroine. My dad was my hero and my mum is my heroine. And I find particularly my mum's been through a lot of difficulties in the last few years with my dad, having had dementia and then had to go into care, and then it's a couple of years in care and then died recently. My mum has faced all that adversity with absolute grace and courage, and it will actually make me well up a bit if I talk about it too much, so I won't, but oh dearie me, I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, she faces everything in her life that is difficult with grace and courage and bravery, and if I can be, or if I am half the woman she is, I would be very happy. So yes, absolutely. That was a nice question, thank you. Amanda M50 asks, do you have a large circle of friends or a small group of close friends? I have a small group of close friends. I don't have loads of different friends. When I was younger, I had a wider circle of friends, not necessarily close friends, but people I would meet up with and so on. And now, not so much. I think as time goes on, things change, don't they? I don't really have the enjoyment of very surface relationships that I used to. I very much believe, so I'm going off at a tangent now, I believe that friendship is very much a two-way street, and I have had a lot of friends over the years, I think because I'm attracted to a certain type of person as a friend, and I feel like friendship's a two-way street. Let me go back to that. And you have to put in as much as you take out. It's not, if there's only one person pushing in the effort to get in touch and make plans, that doesn't really work. Unfortunately, I've had quite a few friends like this over the years, and in the last decade or so, I have been I haven't wanted to put up with that anymore. I've decided that I'm worth more than being, you know, only ever, you know, if people can't be bothered to get in touch with me after I've made a lot of effort to get in touch with them, then I'm not bothered about seeing them again. So I'd rather have a small group of genuine friends, which I feel like I have, than a large group of people who don't always put in the effort. But that being said, I've got friends that I see occasionally who I'd count more as sort of friends but not close friends, you know. But Carla Jenkins, whose name you might recognise, asks, of all the friends you've made through your YouTube channel and reselling, who do you love the most? Well, obviously it's you, Carla Jenkins, isn't it? Carla is the person I think that I've clicked with the best friendship-wise out of all the... I've met lots of lovely people through YouTube and chat to people and reselling, and Carla is the one who I've clicked with the most. We just get on well, we get each other, I think, and that's quite a nice type of friend to have, isn't it? So yeah, Carla, you're the best one. B-Pain2 asks, does William ever talk about getting married? William's 24. William is my son, for anyone who doesn't know, and he lives up in London with his girlfriend Georgie. They've been together since the year after 2021, I think. End of 2020 maybe, I can't remember. Yeah, end of 2020. So they've been together a good few years now. When I asked for the questions, and when the questions were coming in, William actually happened to be here for the weekend, so I asked him this question and he said, not something we think about really, far too expensive. But they are talking about buying a house together. It's a very committed relationship. He's definitely in it for the long haul, and I suspect they will get married one day, but they're just not in any rush. Dawn Hall 1961 at UK. Dawn has been a follower since I was writing a blog back in late 2000s. So Dawn had a blog as well. I can't remember the name of your blog, Dawn, actually. Let me know in the comments. Something to do with house or home, or can't remember, but that was back in the day, wasn't it? With the golden oldies of the internet, aren't we? She asks, how are you, your mum and your family after the sad loss of your dad? Flurry MB also asked, how's your mum doing and how are you doing? Okay, thank you. I've said several times, Dad dying he died at the beginning of February. It was almost a relief in many ways, but obviously very sad. I mean, I could cry at the drop of a hat now. If I stand still and think about something too much and let myself wallow, I could cry at the drop of a hat now. But I suspect we all get sorrow in our lives, don't we? And that the older you get, the more sorrow you will have experienced, and you can either get buried by that or try and push on through and find the joy. And I feel like that's what we're all doing. My mum, my brother, myself, you push on through, don't you? And you look for more joy, although you've got that sorrow as well. That's hard to explain, but I hope that sort of makes sense in a way. But we're all doing good, thank you. We are going on a cruise together at the end of July as a family with my aunt as well, my dad's sister. I'm very much looking forward to that. Heather the Hiker Crone also asked, how is your mum and family coping after the loss of your dad? And she also said, do you as a family have any future travel plans together? So I've just answered that as well. Right, let's do the section on health. I've been avoiding this one because I feel like I don't want to be a person that moans about my health too much. And I feel like I do a fair bit of that in my weekly vlogs. So anyway, DRMA Lucy 21. Oh, that's Dr. Malusi, isn't it? Dr. Malusi 21. Just figured that out. Asks, hi Caroline, do you suffer from anxiety? I suffer quite badly with it, especially health anxiety. And I wondered whether you had any tips on what you would do, would do to help with anxiety. Thank you so much, Saba. I hope I pronounced that right. I don't have any diagnosed mental health issues, including anxiety. But I am a worrier. I'm not quite sure at what level worrying becomes diagnosed anxiety. So yeah, I don't know, but I do worry about things, and I try not to worry about things. Worrying in the night time is something that I actively try and avoid. If I wake up in the night and I've got something on my mind and it's just going round and round in my mind, I will get up and do something else, watch the telly or read a book or watch a YouTube video. Sorry if you can hear my cat sneezing, he's having a sneezing fit, bless him. I think his hay fever must have set in. He's a very sneezy animal in his old age, bless him. Yeah, so I just try and distract my mind, I guess, is what I do. It doesn't always work, but that's sort of my tip for anxiety. DK the 123 says, do you still have anxiety about your son now he's older? I talked about this in, I don't know, a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, about how I worried a lot about Will, to the point of it not being normal, and whatever normal is, you know. I don't worry so much about him now, but I still have it in me that, and this is weird, I almost avoid messaging him sometimes in case he doesn't reply quickly, because I know that if he doesn't reply quickly, I might worry about it. So I sort of take myself away from the worry. If I phone him and he doesn't answer and doesn't call back within a couple of hours, again the same, I tend to worry. I actively don't check for his green light on Facebook if I can help it, because if he hasn't been active for a long time, then I will worry. This is all sounding very odd, isn't it? And I definitely don't have, because a lot of you suggested, oh, get that thing where you can track their phone, and I felt like that would just feed into my anxiety about him and my worry about him even more. So I actively didn't want that. I've never had that. He wouldn't want me to have it. I don't want to have it. I feel like that would be a step too far. So I have learnt ways of dealing with it, which is basically avoiding it, isn't it? And it works. So yeah, I do sometimes still worry about him, but not as much as I did, I think it's fair to say. I'm quite glad that he doesn't still live at home, in that when he would go out for the evening I would worry so much if he was late home, and in my head he would be dead in a ditch as soon as he was half an hour past the time he said he might come in by. So yeah. Pamela Light 946 says, have you fully recovered from your gallbladder op, and has it made things easier for the food you can eat? I would say yes, I have fully recovered, thank you. The only thing that hasn't fully recovered is my fitness levels, because I used to walk every morning on the treadmill before I got ill with my gallbladder, and I still haven't really got back to that. Lots of reasons, but I'm really hoping to do so very soon. Tummy wise, when you have your gallbladder out, you can have issues with not having enough bile to break down the fats in food, which can give you an upset tummy, let's say. So you do have to watch the levels of fats in food that you eat. Sometimes I'm better about this than others, and when I'm not great about it, let's just say I know that things aren't as they used to be. So yeah, you can have some tummy issues. Joan Clark says, hi Caroline, I'm a similar size to you and now wear dresses like you. Are you ever longing to be smaller or like me? Que sera, sera. That's a really good question. I could make a whole video on this, Joan. The short answer, I guess, is that yes, I would like to lose weight, mostly for health reasons. As you get older, the wear and tear on your body of dragging around extra weight is not great. I already have knee problems, and there are lots of other associated problems with being overweight and quite unfit as I am. So yes, I would like to lose weight. However, am I prepared to put in the work that involves in terms of denying myself all the things that I enjoy to a greater or lesser extent, like alcohol and food and all of that, which give me great pleasure in life? I would say, looking at me, obviously not. I think weight loss is 90% inside your head and 10% of, I think you have to want it enough to be successful at weight loss. And as I say, it's a subject I could go on about for ages. It's something that I find very interesting, and on a personal level and generally. And yeah, I haven't got time to do that here, so I will just, I'll leave it at that for now. But perhaps if you're interested, perhaps I'll explore that a bit more in a separate video at some point. Let's move on to the random questions. We've got some interesting ones here. I'm going to try and be quick because I feel like I've been talking for ages already. Susan Donovan says, best advice you've ever had or given? I can't think of a specific piece of advice, Susan, that I've been given, but the example shown to me by my parents throughout my life has stood me in good stead so far, which is to work hard, to be loyal to friends and family, and to enjoy life. And I think those are good mantras to live by. Susan Donovan also asks, favourite musician? Haven't really got one, not a massive music. I enjoy music, but I'm certainly not an avid fan of music. Favourite actor? Don't really have one. Sorry, this is boring, isn't it? Go-to favourite film has to be Top Gun, and the new Top Gun as well, Maverick. I enjoyed that one just as much. Yeah, but I definitely can't say that Tom Cruise is my favourite actor, but certainly he's done some good films. Monica Smith UK says, which skincare brand is the most overrated? That's a really interesting question. I think it's hard to say that one particular skincare brand is overrated, because so many people have different needs for their skin, don't they? So what I might consider as overrated might work perfectly for Mrs. Blogs over there, you know? So it's difficult to say that right off a whole brand on the basis that it doesn't work for me. That having been said, for me, Charlotte Tilbury is a super overrated brand. I find everything they bring out is very much the same as everything else. It all sort of, and I get they've got this particular aesthetic for the brand. I've used a few things from it. I haven't been impressed by particularly the quality of anything I've used from it, or indeed the packaging. I bought a lip colour, not a lip balm, but you know, a balm lipstick type of thing, and the packaging was so cheap, and it was about 30 odd quid, but it was a few years ago, probably more now. But yeah, that's the brand probably that I've been most disappointed by. I don't get it. And I'm sure there's loads of people out there who go, Charlotte Tilbury, best brand ever. So it's all personal, isn't it? A299 Gal says, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Any exciting life plans? Hopefully healthy. Hopefully I will still have my health and my happiness. And other than that, no plans really. I think it's hard to plan ahead, isn't it? We don't know what the fates have in store for us. Emma Belcher says, who are your 5 wish list dinner guests? They can be historical or famous people, people you know, or people who are no longer with us. And how would you start off the small talk? They would all be people I know who have died. I'd have my dad, a last dinner with my dad as he was when he was well. I think both my grandmothers and my best friend Linda, who died when we were both 16. I often think about how she would have grown up, what she'd be like now. I'm still in touch with her brother. Her parents both died, sadly. I stayed in touch with them until they died a few years ago, and I'm still in touch with her brother. But yeah, I'd love to know how Linda would have grown up. I made a whole video about Linda. I will link it up here and down in the description box if you are interested in that story. Just to say that I've decided, having watched this back, to re-upload that video. It's been private for quite a long time, but I've decided to re-edit it and upload it, and that will be coming up soon as a new video. I'm not sure how I'd start off the small talk, Emma, but I think it would flow naturally with those people. I think we'd have a lot to say to each other. Michelle Lee says, when would you and your husband like to retire? Do you see yourselves downsizing or moving? No actual retirement plans or dates set in stone as yet. You know, we'll have to retire at some point, but we're enjoying life as it is at the moment, and long may that continue, is all I can say. I definitely don't see us staying in this house into our very old age. This house really is our pension, so we would move at some point, but who knows when that will be. Pamela Taylor Barker, or Pam Taylor Barker, says, hi Caroline, what do you do for your me time? You give so much to YouTube, friends and family. I get exhausted and overwhelmed on how to manage my time. How do we prioritise? If I knew the answer to that, Pam, I would be a better woman than I am. I am not a great one at prioritising me time. I am getting better at it over the last few years, I think, because I've physically had to slow down because I'm not as young as I was, and I've needed more downtime. Really the only time Ashley and I properly relax is when we go on holiday. If we are at home, I guess everybody has this, don't they? If you're at home, there is always something that needs to be done, always, and with the best will in the world. You know, the washing up needs doing, the laundry needs doing, the beds need making, the shopping needs doing, all of those everyday things. So it's hard sometimes to fit in amongst all those obligations, keeping a home running and working and all of that stuff. It's hard to fit in time, isn't it? But I do like to have a to-do list. I make myself, usually I've got a pad sometimes that I write on a to-do list pad, or a thing like that on my phone with tick boxes. In fact, I haven't ticked the things that I've done so far today. So I've just ticked 3 things off. That's good, isn't it? So yeah, I like to keep myself on track with that. That just makes me feel a bit more organised, which doesn't really answer the question you asked. I apologise for that. That was hopeless, wasn't it? Mandy Welsh says, I always find it a wrench going on holiday and leaving my 2 cats. My mother-in-law even comes to stay so they have company, but I still worry all the time. How do you cope with it, and what arrangements do you make for your lovely fur baby? Do you know, I get asked so much, who looks after the cat when we go away? And I find it a fascinating question, actually, because I think it's not something I'd ever think to ask someone. But we have a lady come in, she's called Bryony, and I found her on the website Cat in a Flat. Cat in a Flat, although we do it direct now. And she's absolutely lovely. She comes in twice a day to feed Ron and spend a bit of time with him. Ron seems to like her, which is good. And she adores Ron. She WhatsApps me pictures and tells me how he's getting on, if he's eating well and all that sort of thing. And it's a paid arrangement, obviously. But yeah, it works really well. Mary Hall says, hi Caroline, I just wondered how you felt about being a plus size lady. Do you care what other people think? I personally struggle with this myself, and I just wondered how you deal with. Sorry, I hope it's not too personal. Absolutely not too personal, Mary. As I've said earlier, I would like to lose weight, mostly for health reasons. Do I care what other people think? The answer to that is probably not anymore, to be honest. I used to. In fact, I'll tell you a story that will perhaps illustrate this a little bit. Oh God, I'm going off at a tangent again, aren't I? Years and years ago, when I was writing a blog before I started YouTube, I wanted to make YouTube videos for quite a long time. And inside my head, and I didn't do it. And inside my head, I said to myself, I'll do it when I get a bit thinner. I'll do it when I lose a bit of weight. And then I suddenly realised that I could go on saying that for years and not do it. So I just did it. And I don't know what suddenly gave me the confidence to just do it. I think the realisation that life could go past and I could be going, well, I'm not going to do that until I lose a bit of weight, or I'd like to lose a bit of weight, or I'd like to get a bit thin, then I'll do it. And I thought, I'm literally wasting my life here not doing things that I want to do because I'm too fat inside my head, and that's just ridiculous, isn't it? And I think making YouTube videos has given me more confidence inside myself. I guess the thick skin you grow from the abuse helps as well, but I think, yeah, it's definitely given me more confidence. But yeah, I think the thought that I might be not doing something because of my weight and losing out on something that I want to do just horrifies me so much that I could get to the end of my life. I never want to get to the end of my life and go, oh God, I really wish that I'd done such and such and I didn't, you know, because life is so short and goes by so quickly. And yeah, hopefully that sort of answers that. I feel like I went off at a tangent, but Tia GSA says, Caroline, probably an unusual question. Is there any songs that make you cry? My dad's favourite song was Lady in Red, and we played it to him a couple of times when we were in the room with him when he was dying, when we had our family day. I haven't been able to listen to that since. I expect that would probably make me cry. And a Sinead O'Connor song, Nothing Compares to You, I can't really listen to anymore, from years and years ago when it was popular. Not going to tell that story, but yeah, I can't listen to that still. If that comes on the car radio, I turn it off. And one other song, I don't know if I can tell that without crying either. Yeah, I'll try. It's a Luther Vandross song. I think it's Luther Vandross. God, I hope it is. If I'm wrong, I'll put it across the screen. It's the one, Dance with My Father Again. And we were on holiday in Greece. William was still quite little, maybe like 10 or something. Ashley's dad had died the year before, I think. He died of cancer when he was quite young, 68. And we were on holiday in Greece, and we were sitting in this beautiful bar at sunset there was music playing, and we were having drinks and looking out over the harbour and the sea, and it was really lovely. And this song came on, and Ashley is a very, very stoic person. You do not see, doesn't display emotion, hardly ever. I could count on one hand the number of times I've seen Ashley be emotional about things in 30 odd years. And this song came on, and I looked over at him and his eyes were just full of tears, and whenever I hear that song now, I think of that, and that makes me sort of cry as well. So yeah, those 3 songs. Courtney Richardson says, I'd like to know if you've ever had a colour analysis done. If not, what season do you imagine you might be? I did have a colour analysis done, Courtney, years and years and years ago with my mum. I think they said I was a spring, but I believe that can change over time. I got a little folder with swatches of what colours suited me. I don't know what happened to that. I don't think I've got it anymore. But I did think about having it done again not that long ago, and I looked at the prices and I was a bit horrified, to be honest. Put me off a bit, but yes, it's quite an interesting thing, I think. Susan Donovan says, where were you born? I was born in Bournemouth. Do you still live near to where you were as a child? No, I live in Devon. I'm about 100 miles away. Lorraine XOXO says, how much time a week do you spend buying for eBay, and where do you buy from? Buying less time than I used to, I think, is the answer. I used to spend a lot of time at car boot sales and charity shops, less so now. I buy from other sources. And I bought a huge job lot last year, which I've talked about before, from a lady who died, who collected lots of clothes and shoes and jewellery and stuff in her lifetime. And so I've been working my way through that. Tracy JB72 says, why do you wear shoes / boots in the house rather than slippers? I'm just curious. I just do is the answer, right? There's not actually a reason. I think some people have never, I think it's something you get from being a child, isn't it? Either you've never worn shoes in the house, or you do wear shoes. You're a family who doesn't wear shoes in the house, or you're a family who do. So you probably get that from childhood. We've always worn shoes in the house. Also, I spend a load of time in the house, and I don't feel like slippers would be very supportive to wear all the time. Also, Fly Lady has things to say about this, which makes a lot of sense to me, which is that if you're not dressed properly, you won't be doing a good job doing all the jobs that you're doing. If you're wearing sloppy slippers, you won't do a good job around the house. That's only Fly Lady, that's not me saying that. Jolene says, hi Caroline, do you still have that beautiful white duvet from Shein? I do like the black one of the same design that I have. I have got it, I really like it. I've recently changed to my summer duvet, which doesn't have a cover. It's one of the coverless type duvets, so you won't be seeing the Shein duvet cover for a while until it's winter again. Let's hope that doesn't come around too quickly. But yes, I have still got it and I really like it. Rebecca Little says, what is the thing you most enjoy and dislike about working from home? It's got 3 parts, this question. I dislike not having that delineation between work and home, and one bleeding over into the other. I always feel like the one that I'm not giving attention to is demanding my attention. The thing I like about it most is the convenience and the view from my office. Rebecca also asked, what is the hobby / pastime that most makes you lose track of time? Definitely jigsaws. When I've got a jigsaw on the go, I can't leave it alone. I'm constantly at it, and I've just one more piece, and I can be sitting there for hours doing a jigsaw. What qualities have you, she also asked, what qualities have you inherited from your parents, good or bad? Hopefully the good ones are the fact that I'm a hard worker and loyal, which I referred to a bit earlier. Bad ones, I don't suffer fools gladly, and I feel like both of my parents had that in them a little bit, slight impatience. So yeah, perhaps that one. Mary Hall says, any retirement plans? I've already covered that. Liz Evans 257 says, what would you tell your 16-year-old self knowing what you know now? Don't get into bad eating habits, because they're really difficult to turn around the other way. Julie Mayer says, is it true it stopped raining in your part of the world for more than an hour? Yes, it is, Julie. Thank goodness, at last. Katie Adams says, how long was it before your eBay reselling became a viable business? For anybody who doesn't know, I've been reselling on eBay for in excess of 20 years now. I did it alongside my job for a long time, so it was a viable part-time business, I would say, within a couple of years of starting, and then I've just grown it and made it smaller as time has gone on. So it certainly gave me a very good full-time income for quite a long time while I was building up YouTube as a side hustle, so to speak, and then they've sort of switched over eBay eBay is now more of a side hustle and YouTube is my main income, really. And then the final question, Annie B8186 says 3 favourite books and films and pieces of music. 3 favourite books, I did pre-think about this. The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah, Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wine, and Rachel's Holiday by Marion Keyes. 3 favourite films: Top Gun, Shawshank Redemption and Mamma Mia. Pieces of music, I think for sheer feel-good factor, I love a bit of ABBA. You can't beat a bit of ABBA. And Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, that album we play a lot. What else? And the other most played album in my house is probably The Best of Van Morrison. I always put that on. It's uplifting. That is it. We made it to the end of all the questions. Thank you to everybody who asked me a question. I hope my answers have been interesting. I'm going to go and drink the rest of my coffee now. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.